Welcome back to the Cisco TV broadcast studio. So glad to have all of you with us right here on the live stream. I'm Steve Moulter, coming to you from the World of Solutions here at the RAI in Amsterdam. We just saw the different ways that we can build a resilient future, those key stages in observability excellence. Mike Cohen, Steve Moore, Laura Marie Vetter, they shared the future of Splunk observability and the ways that you can build a leading observability practice to maximize AI. And of course, AI, the talk of the show. Everywhere you go. It started with the opening keynote yesterday morning, driving all the way across the world of solutions and into, I believe, every single one of our center stage sessions. Are you AI ready? Splunk observability is a big part of getting you there. It is also supercharged by App Dynamics to give you unparalleled visibility across even your most diverse tech environments. Remember to keep reaching out to us using hashtag Cisco Live EMEA and at Cisco Live EMEA on whatever social media platform you prefer and that you love. Send us your comments, your thoughts, your ideas, inspirations if you're taking screenshots or video, whatever it is that you're doing out there, wherever you are tuning into the broadcast, we want to see it. Our social media team is standing by waiting to hear from you and respond to you. We want to make you a part of this amazing event. In just a moment, Alpa is going to sit down with James Hodge, our General Vice President and Chief Strategic Advisor for EMEA. They're going to have a great conversation around Splunk, ITSI, and Thousand Eyes. But before we do that, we're going to head out into the Splunk booth in the world of solutions, where Cedric is standing by. Hey there, Cedric.
Hey Steve, I was observing a few booths and I made my way to the Splunk booth. Did you get the joke, Steve? I hope you did. But anyway, I'm here on the Splunk booth, and I'm joined by a friend, like a Splunk friend, I would say, right? Aaron Schiffman, who is a Senior Technical Marketing Manager for Splunk Observability. Aaron, just to get us started, how are you doing today?
I'm great, Cedric. Thank you very much.
Awesome. I'm glad that you are here with us. I'm glad to learn more about Splunk. You have launched something earlier this year at Cisco Live in the US, which is called the Log Observer Connect for App Dynamics. I'm really interested to learn a bit more about what it really does, because I'm not familiar with it.
Sure, Cedric. I'd love to showcase what we're doing with Log Observer Connect for App Dynamics here for your audience. Log Observer Connect, to give you a little bit of a background, is an integration feature for App Dynamics that is for Splunk, that gives those users who have who are performing application performance monitoring with App Dynamics the ability, with one single click of the button, to dive deep into the respective logs within Splunk. So we're talking about deep contextual links for things like applications, business transactions, snapshots, not only the entity that we're investigating, but the exact time that we're investigating as well. We are fully supporting SSO, so single sign-on, which means that we don't have to log on to multiple tools when we're investigating something in App Dynamics. We have a single sign-on that launches us directly into Splunk, so we're saving a lot of time from having to log into multiple tools. Truly seamless integration.
Truly seamless integration. And luckily we have a computer mouse close to you, so I would love to see a demo of it if you can, Aaron.
Absolutely, Cedric. I'd love to show you a demo.
Thank you.
What we're looking at is App Dynamics, and we're looking at an overview page. And we've clearly seen that we have a clear indicator that one of the applications is performing poorly, the ADE commerce application with a red indicator that says to us that something's going on with this particular application. We want to investigate why, so I will drill into it. We are presented what we call as a flow map, and this is the end-to-end correlated view of our application and all its interdependencies, meaning that we're able to understand out of the box, using our App Dynamics agents, all the different interdependencies, including third-party API calls, different applications that are tied into this larger ecosystem to understand if there's a problem within one of these dependencies that's causing a reaction for this application, why this application is behaving slowly, we can understand the processing path for what's going on here. Over to the right, we have a lot of great information. We have what's called business transaction health. App Dynamics does a fantastic job identifying the most important business transactions that the business depends on. For example, checking out or running a payment process with a credit card service. We can also see other aspects, such as what's called a transaction scorecard, so we quickly are able to identify those transactions that are running slowly, or if there are errors, for example. But since App Dynamics really focuses on the business and business outcomes, I'd like to show you what we can present as far as business transactions go. We have these very familiar types of business transactions that most anybody that has ever ordered anything online is familiar with, such as confirming an order. Well, if the confirm order transaction's not behaving correctly, we know that's going to impact our business and our business's bottom line, i.e. revenue. So we certainly want to address that. 30-second delays is certainly not an acceptable rate. So what I want to do is drill into this. Again, we're presented with a flow map, but a little bit more focused flow map for this specific business transaction. We can see over here that we are experiencing a large number of errors, and we want to know why. So what I like to do is I like to look at the transaction snapshots. App Dynamics starts automatically collecting these snapshots when transactions deviate from what normal behavior is, using an anomaly detection, also using baselines. So we use AI and ML technology to drive focus on what is potentially the issue. And as I drill into this, we're already presented with a lot of potential issues as to what could possibly be causing this error.
Okay.
Most likely we can stop our investigation right here.
Okay.
But what we're talking about today is the ability to dive even deeper with Splunk logs. So as you notice, there's a view logs in Splunk. All I have to do is click this button, and we're driven directly into Splunk. As you notice, that I did not have to enter a user credential. Again, this is a seamless integration between App Dynamics and Splunk, or vice versa.
Yep.
And what I can do is I can scroll down, and I'm only looking at 20 events, which is a pretty short number of events.
And it seems to me it's really important just because it saves a lot of time, and that's probably like one of the unique selling points. Can you like kind of just give us a quick look into that?
Yeah, absolutely,
before
Cedric.
we go back to the studio.
It's absolutely a time saver. We're going to reduce the mean time to resolve issues because we're using App Dynamics to identify where that potential issue is, and then with those deep contextual links, with a single click of a button, we're able to go right to where it matters most, that particular error at that particular time.
Okay, right where it matters the most. Thank you so much, Aaron, for being with me.
Absolutely.
I will hang out with you a little bit more to learn more about Log Observer Connect, but we're throwing it back to the studio to Steve right now.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Cedric and Aaron. Great demo on that. As promised, we're now going to take a look at the integration of Splunk ITSI and Thousand Eyes and see how they are partnering up for better visibility into our network and our application performance, and all from a single place, all from one pane of glass. Alpa is here in studio with James Hodge. I'm going to send it over to you, Alpa.
Thank you, Steve. I am indeed. We've been having a great chat, haven't we already,
yeah.
James? I'm excited to bring our viewers into our conversation. How are you today?
I'm great.
Good.
My first Cisco Live,
Yeah.
and it's been incredible to see all the tech and the partners, and this has been brilliant.
Amazing. The energy is great as
I know,
well.
it's phenomenal.
And we just had that great demo as well with Cedric, didn't we?
I was really impressed.
Yeah. So lots of questions for you, James,
Okay.
right? So I'm going to start with the first one, okay? So we heard Mike and Laura talk about building a resilient future. Why is digital resilience so important for organizations today?
Well, I think if you look at any business now, whether it's your local council, a bank, government, digital is critical infrastructure for everyone. They rely on digital technology, and without that,
Yes.
they don't really have a business anymore. So we're moving from thinking about IT monitoring, network monitoring, or even security, into actually we need to make the entire service resilient, because really we're thinking about things like business continuity. It also builds up confidence. The more resilient that underlying infrastructure is, the more agile I'm able to be as a business. I trust the tooling. I can go and build that innovation velocity, and because we understand what's going on inside of the infrastructure.
And when you have that confidence, there's no really stopping you, you know? You feel equipped to go beyond.
Yeah, exactly. It
Yeah.
kind of, it builds that momentum.
Great. And earlier today you spoke in the keynote about unlocking digital resilience with Splunk's unified approach to observability. So what advantages does being unified offer to organizations? Offer to organizations.
We get that. And It's complex. I think the hardest bit about technology now is there are so many different toolings that you can find. Like on average, a company would have maybe 20 different tools to think about monitoring. And that's great if you're thinking about a point solution. But when you start to move up into the enterprise, what you really want is to enable collaboration. It's not about the tool, it's really about people, and how do you and I start to go, hey, there's a problem, how do we go and collaborate together? So what we've done is Splunk merging into Cisco, or being acquired by Cisco, is starting to take App Dynamics, take Cisco Observability Cloud. We've got 3-tier APM, we've got native cloud APM, underpinned by the Splunk Enterprise platform, and then putting a service wrapper on top of it. And the really exciting thing we announced today was the Thousand Eyes integration as well. So that is all completely unified to go and really think about how do you and I get better visibility, so when something goes wrong, we're not in that big war room shifting blame on everyone else. Like, hey, we know where the issue is, that's the two of us to figure out, everyone else can go on their day jobs and let's go and get it fixed.
Yes, we spoke earlier just about acting fast and equipping our teams to be able to do that in a way that we've not been able to do before. So that's wonderful.
Yeah, and the cost of downtime is huge. The Global 2000, it cost $400 billion they were losing to downtime.
Wow.
So $200 million per organization. So it's not just doing IT monitoring, it's actually preventing loss at the business and transformation velocity and those type of things. So it's a really big issue.
And a lot of learning, I guess, to come from that as well. So once you start to see and identify some of those challenges, you already know for the next time, potentially, what that could be.
And it also means you trust that monitoring. So when you go and think, I'm going to launch a new application or do something different, like, hey, are we covered? Let's go, because if there's an issue, I know I can see it early. And I can get on top of it. So I'm confident to give something a go.
Absolutely.
I don't think that's quite the right business term, give it a go.
It's empowering, right?
Exactly. Liberating, actually, is the word we'd normally use.
Very good, yes. So we heard earlier in the week about unifying data across Cisco and Splunk. Can you tell us a bit more about what you're excited about here?
So I think I'm really excited about the One Cisco message, especially the data, the AI-enabled data center, and then what we're doing with resilience along with Thousand Eyes and other parts of Cisco. Because when you get that right, I think what buyers are starting to look for is they don't want monitoring, they don't want security, they want to go and think about the future that they need to go into, that AI-enabled data center, they want that to be resilient, to work, or the toolings to start to go together. So now being part of Cisco, we're able to really underpin that by this kind of data plane that then allows us to go and start to see where do we actually need to go and invest time. And we're only just at the beginning of this with Cisco, and I think you'll see more announcements coming out over the coming months of bringing all of that together to be world leading.
How exciting.
It's incredibly exciting, and a huge amount of kudos to people like Jitu Patel for bringing that vision together.
Absolutely.
I think Cisco's got a revolution, or evolution and revolution at the same time.
Love that. Thank you, James. So let's talk a bit about ITSI. So I've heard it being described as giving a bird's eye view of your whole digital environment. Is that correct?
It is. So the product is IT Service Intelligence, which we shorten to ITSI. And what we're really looking at is the interdependencies between the functional layer, the service layer, and the business layer. So if I have, say, a problem with a database, I can see what relies on that database, what business services rely on those, and then services rely on that, and then what business services rely on those. So what I can work out is, how critical is that failure? Is that going to go and mean customers can no longer order from my website, or I can't go and ship a product? Or is it just going to decrease the effectiveness slightly? So I can decide really, do I want to do something about it now, in an hour, tomorrow, a week, or a month's time, or maybe never? So I can start to really understand the interdependencies of my entire digital estate, whether it's networking, infrastructure, applications, AI, all of that together, and we have to really decompose it.
And when you explain this to your customers, what's their reaction?
They actually quite often don't believe that you can go and get to that state. And then they said, but if you can, I want one of those. And the most important part is we can go and give that single pane of glass that you can go and drill down into. But the really unique thing is we can start to do predictive analytics to say, how is a service working? Because we understand On a Monday morning it behaves like this, a Friday, maybe a Sunday evening it's different. So we can be proactive on alerts to say, something doesn't look right, you now need to go and look at that.
Jump on it. Thank you so much, James. That's amazing. Thank you for your insights, and handing over back to you now, Steve.
I appreciate it so much, Alpa, and thank you to James as well. Just loving the Splunk story, loving the integration with Cisco, and really loving the fact that wherever we go right now, we are no longer having to explain that Splunk is a part of Cisco. People just know it now. Our customers love that, and people across the industry love it as well. In about 30 seconds, we are going to roll into a replay of yesterday's IT leadership session on the role that IT is playing today and the way Cisco is leading the way with the experience. We've got Fletcher Previn, Cisco's Senior VP and Chief Information Officer. He took a deep dive into the ways IT is shaping corporate culture today, helping the employee experience in enterprise organizations. Let's watch that roll right now. We will meet you right back here in the studio on the other side. Let's go ahead and take it away. Thanks for being with us on the live stream.